Hello and welcome back. In this section, we're going to show you how to select based on focus area. Now, this is super helpful. Let's say your subject is in focus and your background is out of focus. This is going to allow you to make a selection that will include hair. So, jumping in, let's open up our image. We're in Chapter 2, Section 5, Select Focus and Mask. Now, this is going to be cool because we're using a couple tools. We're going to use Select Focus Range and we're going to use Select and Mask. So in this image, you can see our subject is clearly in focus and the background is clearly out of focus. So if you're ever in that situation, it's a great tool in Photoshop. Let's go up here to Select and then down to Select Focus Area. Now, Select Focus Area actually allows you to select what's in focus. You can see it's doing an okay job here. All I have to do is increase my in focus range. So let's increase that just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to try click on auto, which works okay most of the time. In this case, it's not working so well. You have a few different options for your view here. I'm just going to keep this on white so we get a good idea of what's actually going on. And you can even bring in some advanced features like image noise level. Now, let's go ahead and increase our in focus range just a little bit. My goal here, again, is to get my subject visible and my background not visible. There we go. So we'll just continue to increase this just little by little. And there we go. That actually looks pretty good. So most of my subject is in focus. At this point, we have a few different options. We could just output this to a selection. We could output this to a layer mask. Or we can go right into the Select and Mask dialog, which is what I suggest doing. Now, Select and Mask is a whole other tool, and it's very helpful for making, refining selections. So, for instance, in this case, you can see the edge of our selection here is just a little bit harsh, right? That's not looking that great. So if you're ever in that situation, Select and Mask is a really great option. So let's go over here to where it says Select and Mask. So this is going to pop this selection from the focus area right into Select and Mask. So here we go, Select and Mask. There we go. And now we are in the Select and Mask dialog, which, by the way, you can always get to by going to Select and then down to Select and Mask here. Okay, so here in our Select and Mask dialog, my suggestion is to go ahead and first make sure you zero out all of your global refinements. So smoothing, feathering, contrast, shifting edge, just make sure all that is 0. Okay, now once that is the case, you have a few different options here on the left. You can quick selection. This is where you basically add or remove to your selections. Now what we're going to be using is the Refine Edge Brush tool. This is such a great tool because it helps to make our edges a little bit nicer. So let's click on our Refine Edge Brush tool right here. Now you don't need a very large tool in this case. You can see I'm using a relatively small size tool and I'm just painting around the edge of our subject. There we go. And when I let go, you can see the hair here especially, it does a really great job separating out the hair from the background. Look at that selection. That is so nice. So just painting that in there, really, really nice selection of the hair. You can see much better than what we have here. So let's continue to go right around there. It's going to know, I don't know how it knows, but it basically knows, hey, that blue color, that's from the background. Let's get rid of that. And let's just have it just be the hair visible. Again, I have no idea how this tool works, but it does. And that's what's important. Alright, we'll just do a little bit right here around the edge here. It works on eyebrows and eyelashes as well. You can see it's just doing a really nice job. Now, for these areas, we're just going to use a real small brush. Alright, that's kind of the key with this tool. You want to use a relatively small brush. You don't need to use a large brush. What it will wind up doing is kind of contaminating more of your image. So let's just use a small brush right around the edge. There we are. We'll go right around the edge. And by the way, the Select and Mask tool that we're in right now, you can use this at any time you have a selection. You don't have to do this Select Focus Area first. You can get to this. So if you make a rough selection and just want to clean it up a little bit, this tool is always available for you. There we are. Let's continue to paint right around our subject. Looking good. We'll just go up our subject's neck area. I'm holding the space bar which brings up my little hand tool, and this is allowing me to just kind of work my way around the image. There we are, and really, really nice. So this area here is a little bit like, well, I don't know what's going on there, but the rest of our image looks really great. We have a few different options here. We can choose our view. Again, you can have this view overlay on white, which is what we're going to be doing. Basically, these don't change your selection at all, just change how you see the selection. Now, once you've got your image how you want it, you have a few different options here. Okay, you can go check this decontaminate colors, and what this will do is it's actually going to find like background colors and remove them. Okay, so that can be helpful sometimes. We're not going to use it in this case. Now you have some options here. You can output this to a layer mask, to a selection, or a new layer with a layer mask. Okay, in this case we're just going to choose layer mask. So let's hit OK there, and you can see it just creates a layer mask from what we just saw. So if I hold Shift and click on my layer mask, there's the before and the after. There we go. Now zooming in here, check this out. We have like relatively short hair. Well, do you remember earlier when we made that cool custom brush for short hair? Let's use that brush. We're going to right click. I'm going to go down to the short hair brush, and now there we go. Let's just make sure the brush is actually doing what we want. So I'm going to create a new layer. Choose a color we can see there. Okay, and just make sure it's kind of painting in. There we go. Something that'll look like hair. Yeah, that looks pretty good there. So, you know what? I'm just going to change it a little bit. Let's go to brush settings. I'm going to bring our spacing down a little bit, and our, there we are. Let's bring this up to about there. Alright, there we go. So we got the edge of our hair. So now we'll just do a tiny bit of cleanup here on this layer mask. We'll just paint white on our layer mask with this cool little hairbrush that we got. Remember, we made this. There we go. And the edge of our subject's head looks like it's hair, because it's just short little hair, right? There we go. So we're able to use that other brush to kind of clean that up. And then if I hold Alt or Option, that's what our layer mask looks like. Oh, let's just make sure to paint white right there. So we can see we've kind of cleaned that up, but we still have the nice definition of hair. Well, there we have it. Let's go ahead and close that down. I'm going to hold Alt or Option, look at our layer mask, so we can see all this nice detail. The hair from our subject's beard and his eyelash, all of the hair, and including what we did there. We started off making a selection based on what was in focus. Then we passed that into Select and Mask, which got us back here. And now our subject is super well cut out from the background. We just missed that area, so we just select that and then fill it with white. There we are, and we are done selecting out our subject, including all of his hair. Join us in our next section where we show you the magic of using clipping masks for cutting out hair.